missing out. All right, so looking at point slope form, we are going to, our learning targets today is we're going to write the equation of a line in point slope form and use point slope form to solve problems. So point slope form, the equation we're going to use is this y minus y1 equals m parenthesis x minus x1. That's your point slope form. Your x1, y1 is a point on the line. I said a point. Is it a specific point on the line? No, it's just a point on the line. Where your x is the x coordinate and the y is the corresponding y coordinate. And that's your x1, y1. The plain old x and the plain old y are part of your equation. Because in order for it to be an equation, you need an input and an output, right? You need an independent variable, which is your plain old x. And your dependent variable, your output, is your plain old y. And then m is still your slope. So questions on that? Okay, so it's one of those things, memorize the equation, and, well, not memorize, learn it, and make sure you keep your plain old x and your x sub 1, make sure you keep what they are straight. And it's just one of the, the more we practice, the easier it'll be. So questions on the formula, on the equation. Okay. So then, looking at example A, it's going to have a practice one here. So it says, write an equation of the line with a slope of 1/2 that passes through the point 2, 5, and then graph the line. So what's the slope of our equation? 1/2. So that's our m. This is our m. And then we're given a point on the line. So we're going to put that point, that 2, 5. The 2 is going to go in for our x1, and our 5 goes in for our y1. So we're just going to substitute that 1/2 in for m. We're going to substitute the x1 in for 2 in for x1, and the 5 is going to go in for y1. Now we have an equation, and that equation is fine just the way it is. But if we're going to graph it, it's better to be in slope-intercept form, right? Okay. So we can rearrange it. Well, it just says plot. So we're going to 2, 5. So 2 and then 5, and then it's just using the slope, so that works too. So we're going to go, if it has a slope of 1/2, how do we? We're at 2, 5. How do we apply the slope to find another point on the line? Yep. So rise up 1 and over 2. So then at 4, 6, there's another point, and we can connect them. Typically, a lot of times you'll rearrange it to make it y equals. That way you can find lots of points on the line if you're using it to find data. But this works too, and that's even easier, right? So questions on point slope form? Okay. All right. So Jared, you're going to come up to the board, and class, we're going to tell him how to set up point slope form. All right, so in A, what's our slope? 2/3. So that's going to go in for what letter in our point slope form? All right, so it's going to go in for M. So I guess let's tell Jared what's point slope form equation. Y. Just put minus y1. We're just going to do the general equation. Equals minus x1. All right. So now we said that slope was what value? M is 2/3. So in for M, what are we going to substitute in? 2/3. All right, what goes in for plain old X? Nothing. Excellent. What goes in for X1? -2. So we're subtracting. So we're going to put X minus what value? -2. Yep. All right, so I skipped the Y. So we're going to have, what goes in for plain old Y? Nothing. Excellent. So plain old Y comes down. That's our output, our dependent variable. What goes in for Y1? 7. All right, so now we have Y minus 7 equals 2/3, parenthesis X minus a -2. All right, so now, thank you, Jared. Allie, you get to graph it. We're going to graph it on the board over here. All right, so actually let's look at D. So looking at D, it says determine the slope and a point on the line for each equation. Tom, you get to do this one.
The athletic trainer is here. Thank you.
All right, so now we're given the equation and we want to find some important information. So looking at the equation, what's the slope of the line? -5/2. It's in for where M would be. If we look, so it's in front of that parenthesis. Excellent. So then now it says determine a point on the line. So from the point slope equation, where is there a point on the line? And now be careful here because the formula it's y minus y1 and x minus x1. So excellent. So, yep, -3. So we have x plus 3. So how do we get the plus? Because the formula has a minus. Because we're subtracting a -3. So our point on the line is -3, 6. All right. Awesome. Oh, I forgot. Here's the stickers for payment. And then pass them back. All right, so questions? All right, I see a paragraph, so it looks like they're going to throw some real world situations at us. All righty, so the town of San Simon, probably San Simon, we're going to pronounce it San Espanol. All right. So the town of San Simon charges its restaurants for trash pickup and water usage on the same bill. Each month, the city charges a flat fee for trash pickup and a fee of 25 cents per gallon of water used. In January, one resident used 44 gallons of water and received a bill for $16. If X is the number of gallons of water used during the month, and Y represents the bill amount in dollars, write a point X1, Y1. Point slope formula there. Alright, so if X is the number of gallons of water used during the month and Y represents the bill in dollars, what's that point going to be? Chase, you get to do this one. So it's telling us that X is the number of gallons of water used. Do we know how many gallons the person used? Yep. And it says Y is the amount of the bill in dollars, so do we know how much they paid? Yep. So how much water did they use? 44 gallons. So our X1 is going to be 44. And then Y is the bill in dollars. how much was their bill? $16. So then our y coordinate is 16. Just put it like the coordinate. Perfect. All right. Questions there? All right. Cool. So what does 0.25 per gallon represent? So it's our slope, and what is it? What are the units? 0.25 what? Oh, dollars per gallon is how this is. Yeah, it's our slope though, right? It's how much they're getting charged for the number of gallons of water. Yep. Yep. Perfect. All right, so use point slope form to write an equation that represents the cost y in terms of the number of gallons of water x used in a month. So we know the slope, right? 0.25, and we know a point on the line, so can we use point slope form? All right, Shannon, you get to do this one. All right, so tell Shannon what to do. What's the first thing she's going to write? Y minus. And then what? Equals. All right, so then our slope, we can write it as 1/4, or we can write it as 0.25. That works. All right, parenthesis, then what? I see 2 16s. Right, 44. Alright, so 44, why 44? That's our x coordinate for our point. It's our x1, which we said was 44 because it's the number of gallons of water used during that month. Alright, so number 4 says write the equation in item 3 in slope-intercept form. So in order to do that, we have to do what? Do we have to write a whole new equation? Right, so we're just gonna, can we put this in a y equals form? Yes, we can. And Nate's gonna help us do it. So what should Nate do first? Distribute. Yeah, we're gonna distribute. So we're gonna take that 0.25. So write your y minus 16. We're gonna leave that alone for a minute. And we're going to distribute this 0.25 to our x and to our 44. So what's 0.25 times x? 0.25x. All right, and then what's 0.25 times negative 44? Negative 11. So we're going to subtract 11. All right, so is it in y equals format yet? No. What do we need to do? We need to move that 16, so we're going to add 16 to both sides because we need to zero it out on the left side of the equation. So adding 16. So we're going to have, perfect. So the 16, is it going to get added to the 0.25x or to the 11? To the 11, because those are the two numbers. So we can write 0.25x. And then what's negative 11 plus 16? Plus 5. Excellent. All right, so in this format, what does this tell us? What information does this give us? It gives us our y-intercept. And for the situation of this bill, what does the y-intercept represent? Remember, this bill is for trash pickup and water usage. How much are they getting charged for water usage? How much? 25 cents a gallon. So what does this